He thought I couldn't understand him. That was his first mistake. My boss looked me dead in the eye, smiled, and then turned to the CEO and spoke in French. Once she's done training her replacement, we'll let her go. She's replaceable. I stayed calm. I smiled. And I said, got it. What neither of them knew was that I understood every single word. And in that moment, everything changed. For years, I believed loyalty meant something. That if you worked hard enough, stayed late enough, solved enough problems before they exploded, people would see your value. I thought being dependable made you safe. It doesn't. I met my boss 5 years earlier. Back then, he was magnetic, polished, confident, the kind of leader who made you feel chosen. He promoted me quickly, trusted me with major accounts, called me indispensable before I even believed it myself. I thought I had earned influence. What I had actually earned was a front-row seat to betrayal. Looking back, the signs were obvious. I was suddenly left out of meetings I used to lead. Emails started circulating without me. A new hire was brought in to shadow me. My access changed. Decisions were made behind closed doors. I noticed all of it. But betrayal rarely shows up with a warning. It slips in quietly. It disguises itself as timing, restructuring, miscommunication. And then came that meeting, that sentence in French, that one careless moment. I didn't react. I didn't correct him. I didn't let my expression change. I just took notes and asked what they wanted the new employee trained on. But internally, something shifted. I stopped being loyal, and I started being strategic. I had 30 days. 30 days to either become disposable or become undeniable. So I made a decision. I trained her well. Very well. That part mattered. No missing steps. No sabotage. No shortcuts. She wasn't the enemy. She was just next in line. While I trained her, I documented everything. Processes. Approvals. Conversations. Changes. I saved emails. Took screenshots. Built timelines. Archived records. Every night, I went back through my contract line by line. Every clause. Every protection. Every oversight they assumed I'd never notice. I even spoke to a lawyer, hypothetically. Then I audited my own work. And I found nothing. But when I looked at theirs, that's where everything cracked open. Misclassified contractors. Questionable accounting. Compliance corners cut so tightly they were practically invisible. Decisions made by people who had no legal authority to make them. The kind of mess that stays hidden until someone organized decides to turn on the lights. So I waited. Because real power isn't always loud. It's not dramatic. It's disciplined. And when the day finally came, it looked exactly how I expected. A blocked calendar invite. A polished office. A printed termination letter slid across the desk like it was routine. My boss barely looked up. Restructuring, he said. Nothing personal. The CEO watched me more carefully this time. I picked up the letter, read it once, and then reached into my bag. I understand, I said. But before I sign, there's something you should review. I placed a folder on the table. Thick. Organized. Unmistakable. My boss opened it and for the first time, his expression changed. Emails. Documents. Timelines. Translations. I looked at him and said calmly, "You said in French that I was replaceable. You were right, just not in the way you meant." Silence. The CEO grabbed the file and started flipping through it faster. First confusion. Then recognition. Then panic. I let the moment breathe. Then I added, "Copies have already been sent to legal, compliance, and the board. I scheduled that last week, just in case today went this way." My boss stared at me. "You understood French?" I nodded. And that was the moment it really hit him. Not just that I had evidence. Not just that there would be consequences. But that his entire plan had depended on me being unaware. He hadn't outplayed me. He had exposed himself. They didn't fire me that day. They couldn't. Instead, they asked me to step outside while they made a few calls. 2 weeks later, my boss was gone. Quietly. No big announcement. The CEO left soon after, and that exit was much harder to hide. As for me, I walked away with a severance package worth twice what they planned to offer, plus legal terms that protected me far more than they protected them. The new employee kept her job, and I left with something better than revenge. Clarity. Because this was never about yelling, slamming doors, or making a scene. It was about knowing my value, even when they didn't. It was about staying calm when they expected panic. It was about letting the truth do the heavy lifting. Sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's a quiet nod. A month of preparation. A folder placed gently on a desk. And sometimes the most powerful move you can make is letting people realize too late that they were never in control. If you've ever been underestimated, betrayed, or counted out, remember this. Stay sharp, stay calm, and let your next move speak for itself.